Welcome to the Manager Matt podcast show. The show is designed to give you solutions to your day-to-day management and leadership problems. It's hosted by Matthew Haddock, a frontline manager and leader with over 25 years of experience. If you're ready, then let's get on with the show.
Welcome to the Manager Matt podcast show. This week I want to look at how to get ready for your new role. What's the best approach? And how you can make sure you hit the ground running in your new job. So let's get on with the show. Well done. You've done it. You've passed those critical interviews. You nailed the 90-day presentation after following my advice, I hope. And you've navigated those psychological tests. Finally, you've had 2, 3, or even 4 interviews with increasingly senior people in your new organisation. And you were the best candidate. You got the offer. Now, the next step. Do you take the job? And if you do, how do you get that start in your new job nailed? So firstly, what you're crying out is, what do you mean, take the job? Surely it's a done deal. Well, no. You're in the driving seat now. They want you. You've been the best talent and the best client out there. Now is the time that you can negotiate your best deal. They have their top and bottom offer that they're going to send to you. And you've got time now to think about exactly what you want to take and what's your walk away number. Also, don't think you can't walk away at this point. Okay, you've been through a big process to get here. You've told them how much desire you have for the job. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's also a fact that you need the right package, because if you don't go with the right package, over time, you can get pent-up frustration about the fact that you didn't go for more or you didn't do something that you really wanted to. Now, it might not all be about money. At this point, it might be around days off. It might be around sick pay and benefits like that. It might be bonuses. But whatever you're going to do, make sure that you've looked to the pack and made the best to make the best offer. Right, that's it. It's done. You've got the new role and you can't wait to start. So how do you prep to get off to the best start? Well, there are 2 areas of work that you should start working on straight away. First is people relationship, and then the second one is around gathering data. So the best way to start with people side is to have a steady and set 2-way communication channel with your new manager. I would straight away start to get to your new manager as much as you can and to get some time with them to understand how they work and how they will be managing you going forward. And that's normally putting in a weekly call with them, even if you don't work there yet, to discuss what's happening, how they're working, how their business works, how they work. You know, you've probably said it in your 90-day presentation, understand your boss. This is your chance to really start to understand your boss. And from there, you can start to understand what's expected of you. And it's a form of contracting. Now, I don't mean contracting as in the official contract. That's already signed and sealed. This is around the cadence of how you work with that person, the interactions they would expect with you on a weekly, daily, whatever that process looks like. It's also a chance then to start to get your boss to tell you around your new team. So you can get their names of the people who you're going to be working with. You want to get an overview of what those people do in that business. So what are their jobs and what are they expected of them. And so you can start to understand their official roles and start to make some notes. Now at this point, sometimes the HR business partners would be able to provide you with a structural chart of what that looks like. But from your boss, you're starting to get those dotted lines, who works well with who's been there a while, and start to get to know the characters. Now, let's go to that next level. You've been with the boss, you've had contact with your boss. In times where you can meet up, probably worth having a coffee and a drink with that person maybe before to just get the understanding of it. But this next level is to start to get some contact time with your new team. More difficult, obviously, because you don't work there yet, but also the fact that they don't know you yet. But this is also a good time for you can start getting yourself set for what you're going to be doing when you start at the new job. You know, you could be 3 months out. So this is starting to get those early contacts. How are you doing? What's going on? Maybe some one-to-one contacts. So much easier nowadays with technology. Dropping them an email, how things are going, a check-in, getting to know that person. Even arrange for a meet-up prior to starting, nothing wrong with that. And then you can really start to look at what those big five that you're going to be doing with them, how is one-to-ones, how is coaching, feedback, how is those things going to work when you get there, how are you going to empower them, what are you going to look at developing them. I know it sounds a way off, you haven't even walked through the door yet, but you're doing these things up front because it gives you such a head start when you actually start there. Because although you're not in the chair yet, you are going to be there. So getting those relationships built is such a big thing. We all know people work for people. So if you can nail the people side of it, get that in the bag, you're going to start forming those relationships. When I've done this in the past, it's surprising how many people say, "Oh, thanks for checking in." Just genuinely, "Oh, thanks, yeah, nice to speak to you." And you can start to open up about what makes you tick. So that's that people side of it. So you get that going as soon as you can. Then the second part is know the data. So it's going back to school time. It's trying to get as much metrics as you can. Again, your relationship with your boss is key here. How much information and key areas can they send you about things like financial performance, production outputs, people development plans, absence numbers, your KPIs. What are those key projects that are going to be coming that you're going to be involved in? Simple overviews of those. Now, there may be problems with certain data not being able to get to you because you've not started. That's fine. But definitely project charter overviews, where you are as a general performance. Is the company making money? Really should have done that before you got there, but hey-ho, you're in it, so what does it look like? And you can start to build your goals around those key deliverables then. And you might want to know about what isn't going so well. So at this point, you can ask those questions about which projects aren't on time, what's not delivering, what isn't working all the time. Because you're outside in, you've got that possibility now to look at things outside before you even get there. And you can ask those questions, why does that not work? Because you don't know a lot about the place. You're always going to be asking those questions before you get there. And you're starting to look at studying the trends, what's been going on, where are the performances not hitting the mark. And fresh eyes makes a massive difference when you go into these kind of businesses. What are you seeing that people haven't seen? But what I would do at this point, a little bit of word of caution, is to make sure you're keeping your powder dry. So don't go arrogant and sort of thinking you know all the answers before you walk in just because you've seen a spreadsheet. You haven't seen the detail yet. You're going to have to do the day in the life. So you're going to have to know the business. You have to know the customers and the stakeholders. So don't think that just because you think you've seen a trend, that's the thing. Keep it in your head, write it down, get yourself a diary, log these things, but just be careful not to go over the top before you even get there. Now, you've still got a lot to learn. So again, as my point there, don't go in too cocky. You've still got some limited info. You will still need to spend a lot of time with the people and get to know it firsthand. But you should have a good idea of your team by this point, what makes them tick, and you're also knowing around what's driving the data. And you're then going to get ready for that first day and make sure that you're there, ready to cast that shadow. And because you've done the legwork up front, these people almost know you before you get there. You've got that 3 months of knowledge. You've met them up for a drink. You've done all the stuff that you need to do to know them. And then when you get into the chair, you actually feel a little bit less than the first day at big school. You've got a good understanding. I've also done visits. I don't think it's wise doing too many of these, but it's good having a meet the team visit, maybe first month or so, get to know where you're going to be so you can get an idea. But don't overdo it, because if you're there too much, then you become the furniture before you're actually in charge. So you can't make any decisions, but you're always there. Well, let's not do that. You still want to come in with a bit of an impact when you get there. You need to know where you want to get in there and know the people, but not too much beforehand. So definitely keep that part of it sort of a bit restricted. So let's have a bit of a recap what you're going to do. First thing, you're going to start to get to know the people. So what the people like, try to get to understand how they tick, understand the structure, look at those one-to-ones and how that's going to work, get to know them as a people, and then start to gather the data. What data have you got? What can you use? What can you use from your experience in the past? And then also looking for those allies and different angles that you might want to dig deeper when you finally join the company. But remember, this is a great time to join. You've got a good plan. They're not expecting a lot of you straight away, but if you can hit the ground running and you've already done your prep 3 months out, you're in much, much better position to be up to speed within that first 90 days and really delivering the results which they're going to pay you for. Well, thanks for listening. Now it's over to you. You have a background of why it works. You have the context of how it can deliver results. You have a step-by-step guide. Now it's up to you. Take action and see the benefits. So what are you waiting for? Do it. Nothing comes from nothing. Okay, that's it for Manager Matt this week. Thanks for listening and goodbye.
Thank you so much for listening to this Manager Matt podcast. We hope you found it interesting, helpful and actionable. One last thing, please leave a quick review on iTunes or with your podcast provider, as it helps to spread the word of Manager Matt. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the podcast, and if you did like anything in particular, send an email to managermattpodcast@gmail.com or visit managermatt.co.uk for more content. Feedback is a gift, so let's keep giving. See you next week.